You know, Ryan, a very wise woman once told me that groove is in the heart.
You know what? I found that to be true. Groove is in the heart. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steven. This is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast. You know, Ryan, that woman, she also told me, boop,
Wiser words have never been spoken.
Yeah.
As a really good impersonation, Steve.
Yeah,
You nailed it.
This first ad was sent by Joey Scar.
We're starting with a Joey. Here we go. This is going to be a crazy episode if we're starting with a Joey.
1993 Fender Custom Edition Terry 1 Takeshi Teruchi near mint with case and hang tags. It was $3,800. It sold on Reverb from Mike and Mike's Guitar Bar.
Yeah, that means we've got excellent photos to look at instead of potato photos.
There's a very long description, but I'm going to
read it all.
Get it down to the brass tacks that this is a guitar that was engineered to pay tribute to the 30th anniversary of legendary Japanese surf guitarist Takeshi Teruchi's and his band Blue Jeans debut. He was an incredibly influential figure in the world of Japanese electric guitar. And this guitar takes a lot of cues from a lot of places. As I like to call it, it is a stretchy Telecaster.
A stretchy Telecaster. All right.
Stretchy Telecaster. I did not read this before, but other things that they say that it's a Telecaster. And if you stare at it long enough, you do see these other things that it's taking a nod to the Maserati Ventures and the Yamaha Flying Samurai.
Yep. It's those things all combined with the Telecaster concept. We've been sent these before.
Yes.
And I could never figure out what am I going to say about them? I still don't know what I'm going to say about them, but I figured it's time to finally actually look at one of these and show it off because they're just beautiful. I wish that Fender would take parts of this and commit it to a normal production line because it's really a stunning version of a Telecaster.
I wonder if they can't.
It sounded like they did it as a tribute to him. I don't know if
they just did it on their own.
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually. I don't know. It might be officially licensed through him or something like that. I don't know. But this body shape, I think, is very attractive for a Tele. It almost kind of reminds me of the Fender Bullet Ones. That longer Telecaster shape, where this has more of that Mosrite butt end on it.
Yeah.
Definitely pushing in that direction. It would have been neat if they'd given it a German carve on the edge, but the yellow binding is beautiful.
You know what it might be, Ryan, is this may have been a Japanese domestic product. Because it was made for 1 year in the Fujigen factory. And so it may actually just be like Fender USA has no control over whether or not it gets remade.
Right. Fender doesn't have the access to the files. They'd have to do internal espionage. And you know who could make the soundtrack?
Mike Adams?
No.
Who?
Terry,
obviously. Obviously. Why didn't I think of that?
Have you ever listened to Terry, Steve?
I know I've heard him in your car.
You've probably heard him at my house during parties.
Oh yeah, because I know
I have at least one album on vinyl. I think I might have two.
Which one of these do you have?
Nippon Guitars.
Okay, yeah,
it's a good one. I recommend it.
As soon as I scrolled to that one, I was like, that looks familiar.
So let's talk about everything going on here. You got a 3x3 headstock on a Telecaster, which is wild. But then it also uses that Mosrite string retainer past a zero nut.
Right.
Which is super, super cool. I love that they went that far with it. Then you've got these flag inlays, I guess. I'm not totally sure what they're meant to be. They have the flag look to them. The longer body that we're talking about, a Mosrite lower armrest area thing going on. The whole pick guard is custom and made to go with the look of the guitar. You got a Telecaster pickup in the neck. Classic. Then you've got two neck Telecaster pickups as the bridge pickup,
Is
functioning
that,
as a humbucker.
That's a Yamaha Samurai thing, right?
That's a callback to the Yamaha. It's probably not going to sound anywhere the same.
Sure.
Because it's made with 2 Telecaster neck pickups.
Right.
And the Yamaha bridge pickup is kind of like my Flying V that I don't have in shot right now, where the bridge pickups are split.
Yeah, they have like a. It looks like they have a spacer.
Exactly. But this bridge, I want to know where this bridge vibrato situation came from. It's got, like a Tune-O-Matic style roller bridge thing on it. But then that trim, it's not a Mosrite style trim. It is some sort of custom piece of hardware. Or maybe they got it somewhere else that, from what I can tell, is made and intended to replicate the Yamaha bridge and trim. Like they're trying to, by the way, Terry often played Mosrites, but he also played a lot of Yamahas.
Yeah. So
he actually has, I have a screen grab in the folder, Steve, of like custom Yamahas that were made as like, those are like his signature Yamaha.
Right.
The Yamaha made a bunch of those. Not a bunch, but enough of them.
I actually thought it was interesting because in the description,
which is why it's interesting to see this clear combination of elements from the Fender factory. So you're getting Fender, which he also played Fenders because, of course, Fender, Mosrite, and Yamaha all blended together in the same guitar, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can tell someone used it because the wiggle stick's all tarnished.
I definitely, like, just visually, this said Yamaha to me. I read in the description that they called this a Mosrite style bridge in vibrato, but it really doesn't hit that for me.
No, it's not a Mosrite style bridge.
The Mosrite style, I mean, maybe the bridge, the individual saddles a little bit more, but I'm gonna say the Mosrite style is almost like almost a straight ahead.
It's the the Mosrite style vibrato. It's closer to a Bigsby.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but it's not. It's not a Bigsby, but it's closer in build. Where this is closer because the spring is internal underneath the plate.
Yeah,
almost. Gosh, I don't want to misspeak. I don't think it's like a Mustang. I think it might be like a more like a Jazzmaster spring under there. I think that's how they work, the Yamaha.
Right.
Man, I'll have to take a look. I might be totally wrong on that. It's either like a Mustang where there's springs going towards the bridge, or there's a vertical spring like a Jazzmaster.
Yeah, so I think this is I do agree with you. It would be cool for Fender to bring this back. I don't know. One, like I said, because it's a Japanese domestic market, it would probably be another limited run. Would they do it in partnership with?
I want to see this as
this setup
as a Strat variant, where like how
Strat variant,
a Mosrite looks like an upside down Strat,
right?
Like just do a Strat, but then give it that a little bit of an offset to push that direction, to get the lower horn out a little further than the top horn, but clearly make it based on a Strat that's also going Mosrite. I think that would be really cool.
I also suppose the other problem with working with Takeshi Teruchi on this is that he died 4 years ago.
Yeah, it is. So. It's gonna be hard to get him to sign off on this. R.I.P. I think the takeaway from this is everyone should pressure their local Fender rep that they know personally.
Yeah.
To get this into production. Number 2, go listen to Terry. He had a bunch of projects. Terry and the Bunnies, Terry and the Blue Jeans, sometimes just under his own name. Go look him up. Learn about him. He played some really, really, really excellent instrumental rock music. It's top notch. Go check it out. I don't recommend a lot of stuff, but I'm recommending Terry. So go check him out. If you like this channel, then you'll like him.
That's fair. Yeah. Ryan.
Yes, Steve.
This episode is brought to you by String Joy.
That's right.
They make strings more creative than, I don't know. I'm mixing up my ad spots, man. String Joy, I don't know if they're going to do another guitar giveaway. I looked at my watch as if it has a date. Today's July 1st, the day of recording. So the Telecaster giveaway is over. I don't know if there's another giveaway for the month of July.
Probably eventually there will be a giveaway, so you should go over there anyway.
Yeah, check out the website.
Because it will happen eventually.
Follow them on socials, of course. When you buy their strings, you can get them in like your own sizes, like custom sets. If you get the orbiters, those are coated with human enamel, so making the strings
the
last
enamel
longer.
from human baby teeth.
Yeah. They have all kinds of other strings, bass strings, acoustic strings. They have both kinds of
I need to
acoustic
hit him up
strings.
to get some acoustic strings. My very first guitar came back into my life, and I need to restring it.
The Honer?
Yeah, the Honer. It came back in my life. I want to make a video on it, and I need to have some strings.
Ah.
I need to have string drawing. Like, hey, throw me 1 pack of acoustic strings, please. And then Scott will probably be like, what?
Yeah.
For you? But you think acoustic guitars are boring. And I was like, yes, I will say that they are boring, but I still need a pack.
You'll say, send me the most interesting acoustic
Send me
strings you
the
have.
most exciting acoustic strings possible, please.
Yeah, so head on over to stringjoy.com. Follow if you want to know if they're going to do, I think they might be doing another giveaway, so just give them a follow on socials, you know. Check that yawn out. Said yawn that time.
You
instead
sure
of
did.
yawn. This episode is also brought to you by Chase Bliss. Speaking of getting on mailing lists, head on over to chasebliss.com. Get on their mailing list. Of course, we all know about a lot of their pedals, like the Mood and the Billy Strings Boom Tone and the Onward and so on and so forth. Whole bunch of different kinds of pedals that are all more creative than you are. But if you want to know about limited edition stuff that they give away, you want to get on that mailing list.
Get on there.
Find out when cool new things are happening. That's it.
That's it.
That's my sponsor spot.
There's a spot. You did a great job, Steve.
Yeah.
I let Steve take the wheel on that one, and I'm glad I did. I just kind of like sat back and enjoyed the view.
Ryan, I don't know how to transition into this topic.
Okay.
But
You want me to do it?
why don't you do it? You let me
So,
do the sponsorship.
I
I'll
don't know
let you launch the topic.
I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we spend a lot of time on the guitar internets,
Yeah.
on the guitar YouTube, and I've been starting to get the impression, I've been given the impression by our fellow YouTubers that guitar YouTube is dying.
It's
as
so dead.
good as dead, in full decline, complete bubble pop, collapse of the guitar YouTube economy. What do you think about this, Steve?
I mean, I think there's some validity to the conversation. I thought looking at various places, I'm totally not leaning into your energy.
Sure.
Because so the most recent one that I saw, and which actually, no, the most recent one I saw was Landon Bailey's, and his was just a response to Henning's, which I kind of only mostly watched.
I screen grabbed like
You screen grabbed a
7.
bunch.
I just did a search and it was like guitar YouTube is dying, and
Yeah.
like 7 or 8 videos came up. Henning's didn't come up for some reason, probably because I watched it. They're like, you already watched that.
So actually, the first one that I saw was maybe a month or so ago, and I don't remember who sent it to me. It may have been posted in a group chat. Is the one from, I think it's Ministry of Guitar? Is that it? You have a picture of it?
Do I?
Yeah, I just don't. It's the one that has Mary Spender on it. Ministry of Guitar. This is the first one I saw of it. Ministry of Guitar is like a really cool channel. It's a guy out of Singapore.
Oh.
So like when he goes to buy guitars, it's on his like annual trip to Japan or something. But it's he thinks a lot about it, and he's actually a marketing guy from what I understand. So he actually, like, I feel like I haven't watched a ton of these, but he's actually coming at it from the angle of like the market size and everything. So I thought it was interesting. Like I said, I watched Landon's. I think I watched Henning's. I don't really remember. You think I would remember that if I did?
I remember just footage of Henning going around in the countryside on his bike.
That's every one of his rant videos lately. But I think they always want to say it's dying. I think if anything
yes or no, Steve, is guitar YouTube dying?
I don't think guitar YouTube is dying.
I'm a hard no. I don't think it's dying.
I think guitar YouTube celebrity, for lack of a better word, is dying.
I think the gold rush is over. The mines are still open.
Right.
You know,
think that's actually a perfect analogy. I was trying to come up with an analogy earlier.
Right.
That's a perfect analogy.
The honeymoon is over. It doesn't feel new anymore.
6 or 7 years ago, you could maybe like strike it rich. You could hit the right algorithmic vein.
No.
Get a few million views all at once.
It's never been easy. Maybe lucky for some people, but it's never been easy.
I think it was easier to strike.
I don't know.
It's
It's never been easy for us.
Arguably we've never struck.
We've never had a true viral moment other than the time that I found that mannequin that kind of looks like me. Hi, Brian.
We've had we've had viral shorts.
Sure.
We've legitimately had viral shorts. But and this was in the Ministry of Guitar one. And actually, again, he did some analytics, like actually broke down numbers. I don't agree with his conclusions because of the channels he chose.
Sure.
In looking at them. And you actually see in the thumbnail, at least 2 of the 3 channels. And he has a picture of Rob Chapman, but the 3rd channel that he analyzed,
he's just calling it Guitar YouTube. You and I think in terms of demo channels.
Right.
And none of these characters are demo channels.
But even here, so he looks at as Music is Win, Mary Spender, and then his actual 3rd channel that he analyzed was Agufish, which is a demo channel.
Yeah.
And what he looked at is the number of videos they made over the last year, and the number of videos they made in 2020, I think, and then how many average views per video they got. And one of the issues with this analysis is that, and we're going to get to more fun, but I just want to bust the analytics really quick. One of the issues is that what you see on YouTube with some of these videos is views over time. And of course, so videos made in 2020 are naturally going to have more views than a video made in 2023 or 2024.
Right.
But the other thing is that some of these channels, they've wound down, they've changed topics. Mary was more of a demo channel, maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Right.
Than she is in over the last
channels
4 or 5 years.
Mature,
they
they find
exactly.
their pace, and they find the content that they actually want to make, and it might not be demos, or it might not be lessons, it might be something else.
As far as the viral video thing goes, I actually think a really good example of this is Phil McKnight.
Sure.
Phil McKnight has, I think, 6 or 7 videos, maybe more, that have over 1 million views. And when I say viral, I'm saying any long form video with over 1 million views is how I'm thinking of a viral success, or a ultimate success guitar demo or product demo or just guitar talk, whatever, is over 1 million views. Phil has a handful of these. Most of them are from 5 or 6 years ago. He has one that I think is from 2 years ago. So I think there is something to be said for, being able to get 1 million views. Yeah, it's never been easy, but I think it was easier.
I think certain
pre-COVID.
I think certain channels were, there was a huge boom during COVID too, which is the thing.
But I don't know if any of those COVID channels got 1 million views on a single video.
I don't know. That's such a stupid thing to aim for anyways.
It is, but I think that speaks something to the way viewers handle it. But another part of this,
I have seen a sign that YouTube is in decline, and it came via a sponsored message, a sponsored placement on Facebook from Rick Beato, who's putting his own money into tooting his own horn lately.
Facebook ads.
It's a Facebook ads telling everyone that one of his videos was top 6 on YouTube. And when I saw that, I was weird. That's great news, Rick. That's bad news for YouTube.
Yeah.
That a Rick Beato video passed up Mr. Beast videos and stuff like that. Well, that's not a great sign for YouTube as a whole.
But what that could mean is people are going to get uppity about it, but it's the example that's been the most obvious one. I think back, I don't remember if it was this past December or December 2023, that the Donald Trump MAGA chorus put a song on iTunes, and it was the #1 song on iTunes that week. And he came out and was like, "We beat Taylor Swift." And it's yeah, but Taylor Swift hasn't released a song in 9 months.
Sure.
You beat no. So it's is Rick number 6 because it was really super successful, or because none of the other usual suspects, like you said, Mr. Beast, released a video? Who knows? And it doesn't matter. Rick has all the success he needs, probably more.
Good for him.
But what? Hold on.
Go ahead.
Where I was going,
I'm gonna let Steve just have all the runway he wants, and then I'll say my piece at the end.
Where I was going with this is, I think in some ways it's easier. It was easier to go viral back then. What COVID brought us, and what YouTube has become, I think, in the last 3 or 4 years, is a heavily democratized space where there are so many people trying to be, just record something in their home once a week and put it on YouTube. How many channels are there? There's maybe there's not a ton of channels hitting the 100K mark anymore, but there's so many channels I feel like that kind of sit in the like 10 to 30K space that did not exist 5 years ago.
And that's realistic where we sit. Like,
yeah,
I know that we have more than that now, but we're really just like, we have more than that now because we've been around longer. Like, we operate like a channel that has 30 to 40,000 subscribers. Like, that's the reality of this actual size of this channel.
And I think in turn, what you have is you have more choice. You have manufacturers who have their favorite brands to work with. You have less of the massive product launch now. I don't think you see that as much anymore.
Well, just because Walrus has cooled it.
And in turn, you have like people who maybe they used to say like, oh, Fender's got a new Player 2 series. I'm going to, a few years ago, they would have said like, oh, the new Player series, I'll wait for Ryan's video. And now maybe they're saying, I'm going to wait for the Jason Plays video, or I'm going to wait for, whoever else. So you have a lot more choices. So it's naturally going to make it harder to stand out. And now instead of one channel getting 100,000 views, you have 10 channels getting 10,000 views a piece. So there's some of that, and I'm not even getting to the economics. I don't think
it even works that way.
Yeah, it definitely works that way.
I don't know. It's all so murky and muddy, and just like, you can look at a channel, you can look at a legacy channel or a channel that's been big forever, and get onto Social Blade or whatever and look at their stats and like, well, they're actually down 10% year after year. I was like, well, maybe they changed their workflow, maybe they changed their goals, maybe they're moving on to doing other stuff. It's not all this stuff is such a messy way to try to measure what's going on with YouTube as a whole. But I'll say, as a large counterpart from my perspective, as someone who's making his full living doing this, even though Uncle Judy said, I watched part of Uncle Judy's video ranting him on the same topic. And
who's Uncle Judy?
He's a guitar YouTuber that just mostly just rants. Okay. Yeah, and tries to be edgy. He was saying that no one who's isn't getting 1 million views on videos is making a living doing this. Which clearly is very, 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 very far away from the truth. That's not how this works at all. And he's either telling a joke, or he's lying, or he's simply flat out does not understand this business at all. If guitar YouTube is in decline, someone please let me have some of that decline. I would like to have some time off, please. My schedule has been packed for years. Right. Like, and I keep raising prices, and I'm at the point where like, I'm not worth it. I shouldn't raise my prices again. But it's like, I never run out of work. Sure. That's not the sign of an industry in decline. Like there's people right now that I'm telling, like, I can't in the summer, like hit me up in the fall sort of thing. And I'm not seeing it. And also my numbers aren't seeing it. Like, this summer is probably our most. This is possibly. Okay, you're going to argue with me because I'm going to argue with you year over year. Okay, something that has changed is that we're doing shorts this year, and that does buy views. But I'm seeing higher views on individual demos than I remember seeing last summer. I think on the whole, we have more views per video, and this is where the analytics, again, the Ministry of Guitar, I think Ministry of Guitar's methodology has some flaws, but his approach was good of looking at it as average views per video across a thing, because the thing that affects our last 28 days numbers are big. Our last 90 days the numbers are really good, and 100% our summer numbers this year are way better than our summer numbers last year. Yeah. We actually have our April was really bad this year. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know if there's something in there. And part of me not knowing what is something in there is if for 1 month you decide like, I'm only going to publish 2 videos a week instead of 3. There might have been a period of about a month in there where the channel was barely floating on pre-recorded content while I completed a spaceship. Oh, right. Was that April? Somewhere around there. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So there are these spaces where you can't necessarily go one-to-one, and the Social Blade thing
doesn't really work.
Right.
And like you said, we added in shorts this year.
That's
so
such a shitty, lazy KDH way of like figuring out like what's going on a channel is to look on Social Blade and think you understand what you're looking at.
I feel like he's better than Social Blade.
Well, that's what he used to use.
That is true.
To
For
do
Glenn
all his
Fricker and
like,
stuff.
oh, I'm going to slam Glenn Fricker and all these
Yeah.
other people. I'm going to use Social Blade to show that they're in decline.
I think actually
What a bastard.
that being
What a weenie. That's right. I call him the W word. Fuck you, KDH.
Jesus.
Come after me. You're too much of a coward and you never, ever,
It's 'cause
ever
you're such a-
fucking will.
It's because you're such a good guy. There's no reason to
I
come
know.
after me.
We all are. That's why he stopped doing takedowns for the reason I said at the very beginning. There's not enough content out there. You can't do Chapman every week. You've run out of victims, kid detective. Who are you gonna investigate now? Yourself? Give it a hot go. Let us know how shitty you are. We already know.
So that being said,
Support us on Patreon.
that being said, year over year, time over time, I don't know where he's at right now, but I almost
Wasn't he in Ireland?
Yeah, he is in, I believe, in Ireland. Fuck it, I can do a little research.
No, not right now.
No, I don't. Do I even have
This is already going to be a long topic.
I don't think I
Are you
have.
going to see if he did a video on YouTube being in decline?
No, I don't even have YouTube on my iPad, which
All
is
right,
weird.
all right.
What I was going to say is I don't know if he's going to make a video about YouTube being in decline. Maybe he might do a video about how everyone else is talking about YouTube YouTube being in decline. But to my point of democratization, he is a channel that didn't exist 4 years ago that now I think has 100,000 subscribers.
It's impossible. No, the boom is over. No one can grow a channel now.
So again, I think we're not seeing channels that get I think it's a lot harder to get 1 million views than it was 5 or 6 years ago.
Which is a nonsense
which
goal to chase anyways.
Yeah, but to that perspective, I actually think potentially there are more people. Oh, this is a hot take, but no one will care about it because it sounds so boring to say out loud. There might actually be more people making a living on YouTube right now than there were 5 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
I know a lot of people have quit, but I think you have a lot of people like yourself who, like, I think you've probably moved. I don't see all of your numbers, but you've probably moved from making a living 5 or 6 years ago to being a little more stable and more comfortable where you are now. And that's growth.
We have savings now.
Yeah.
So that's nice. It's a nice luxury to have, this is such a big topic and we could just roll around in the muck forever on it. I'm going to say what I think has changed on YouTube since we started.
Right.
TikTok's come along.
Yeah.
Instagram has videos now. YouTube has shorts now. Facebook has a shorts program now, Reels or whatever. And all of that stuff is connected to each other. Most people, when they're looking for short form entertainment or even just entertainment in general through video on their phones or whatever, they're looking at short form.
Yeah.
For entertainment. And so naturally, the channels that their main function was not only entertainment, but fad-driven entertainment. Hey, let's build an ultimate degent stick. We'll 0.0000000 on all strings, on all 15 strings on this guitar that I had made for ultimate djenting or whatever. Those jokes expire. They get old. They get tired.
Yeah.
They can turn into vertical shorts. We're like, there's a funny thing that I just saw. Like the long form of the entertainment side, it doesn't have the same draw anymore because people are going to TikTok for that.
Yeah.
What I keep saying to people about YouTube is that YouTube's not that, and it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be vertical shorts. It's a searchable resource. And if your content has value as a searchable resource, all the demos, I'm talking about demos here, demonstrations for individual products that are searchable. You ever try to search for something that you might have even already seen on TikTok or Instagram? Like, it's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find the same thing again.
If you don't remember what the account is
Right.
that it's on, you're never going to find it. And then half the time, because it's a shorter form content, the place that you actually saw it was one of these,
someone who repurposed it,
Lad Bible or whatever places
right.
that's just aggregating viral videos.
So it's like, if you have not been making searchable content that has a function, a practical function, it can be as entertaining as you want. But if it doesn't have a practical function, then you are solely relying on the viral ability of you to maybe make it to the front page of YouTube,
right.
which maybe will have some sort of influence over you getting 1 million views. But then you build your whole channel around that one video that got 1 million views, and it's just diminishing returns every single time. Like, we've seen it over and over again. Like, oh, you struck it big with this, and you just keep trying to do it, and then you peter off to nothing, and then you stop doing it. That's not how demo channels work. And I know a lot of these channels that are talking about guitar YouTube being in decline are talking about the Chapmans and the Jared Dineses and stuff like that. Those are entertainment channels.
Right.
They don't serve a practical function. They're for viral entertainment. That sort of content has moved to short form, where which is great. It's a great way to absorb all that stuff. But to broad stroke, guitar gear YouTube is dying. Not the demo side of it, because people come and they search and they're looking for that content, not just when it launches, but we're getting views and comments on videos. Like, we get comments on demos that are 7 years old all the time.
Yeah. We don't, to that point too, I don't think we utilize, and I don't know how to do this better. I mean, I know how to do it better. The way to do it better is just to do it. But I don't think we utilize the YouTube live function enough from a community building standpoint. That being said, I do think that we've done a pretty good job of building a community without necessarily directly interacting with the base, because the way that you do demos is relational.
Sure.
The way that you do demos is it brings people in, they laugh along with you when you find the weirdest sound on a thing.
Right.
They feel like they're part of that. And so I think that brings people back in time and time again. And it is something that you've done really well with. Every demo is a premiere. So you have kind of the same 50, 60, 100, 120 people most of the time who are coming in to watch these demos, who are part of the community. And that also is kind of goosing the algorithm right out the gate. But it's this continuous thing, and people who don't make the premieres, you see a lot of the same comments, or not the same comments, but you see a lot of the same commenters on all these different demos, like you're saying. I think that has helped us for a long time. And like I said, I think for us, it's stability. Death, if anything, maybe the reality is from a growth perspective, maybe YouTube is a little stagnant, the guitar space, but even then, I don't know is true. I do think the one thing that's complicating some of it, and where you do lose, for the people who do a pure, this is what 9 sounds you can get from this new overdrive pedal from this company, but they aren't necessarily building those kinds of relationships with their audiences.
Right.
I think those kinds of channels are probably losing out on viewers over time, because in our current kind of everybody's back to work, everybody's grinding, everybody's in a bit of an economic uncertainty right now.
Sure.
A lot of people are consuming less YouTube, and they're buying less. And if they're buying less, or they feel like they have less expendable income, then there's less drive to watch another overdrive video if you don't feel like you have a personal connection with the player in some sort of sense, where it's if you don't feel tied to that audience,
well, people don't,
then you don't really need to watch it.
People don't only watch to buy.
Right.
And purchasing is down. Talk to anyone behind the scenes, and the spending habits are down because everyone's freaked out right now, as they should be.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see viewership down. People window shop. People are just curious. It's part of the gear hobby. We're just curious about everything that comes out. And then you throw in the community aspect of it, which I do the premieres and the community aspect and all the chatting and stuff, because that's what I like. Mm-hmm. That's where I want to be. I need to have some sort of social interaction in my life, because I'm at home alone all the time. That's my social life Really? So it just kind of naturally comes out of this.
Ryan, you can always talk to Tony.
I can always talk to Tony. Hey, Tony.
Not now. I'm busy.
Okay, not now.
I saw in that last demo where she's like, "Do it yourself."
I know. Ever since
like rude ass Tony.
I
Jesus.
I think I need to redo the update. Ever since that last firmware update, just like
she's the worst.
This no.
She's the worst right now.
No, she still does a good job. Just like she doesn't want to do extra. She's over it.
Yeah,
I think. So anyways, it might be time for I'm gonna write back to headquarters and hey, can we go back to the old firmware and see if like we can just try the update again? I guess we'll see. You were like, man, it was so rough last time.
You were like, hey Tony, tell the people what my rig is, and she's just like, no, no, that's my impression. Wait, normally she's like, Ryan is playing through the.
A lot of people don't know this, but she originally started out as the operating system for it was I think a 2014 Honda Odyssey.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So that's her lineage.
Do you have anything else to say about this whole YouTube is dying thing? YouTube is dead or dying.
The only reason all the channels are making these videos is because it's an easy way to make content that gets clicks.
Yeah.
And here we are doing it. And it didn't feel easy this whole time. It felt like there's so much to say without actually saying anything about it. Everything's fine.
Here
like, if anyone is complaining about not getting enough views on YouTube, they're like, oh, my YouTube is dying. YouTube isn't dying. They're just weak.
Here's the last thing.
They're not up to the task of actually doing the job. Because if you're up to the task of actually doing the job, you have to stay on your feet. You have to keep moving. You have to keep innovating what you're doing with your content. You have to keep looking for new horizons. And if you rest on your laurels and like people aren't responding to my gent videos anymore, it's because gent is out of fashion.
Right. Unlike surf guitar, which is always in fashion.
And if you start with something that's always been out of fashion and can't possibly go more out of fashion, then your numbers will never decline because you can't go lower than bottom, right?
Oh my gosh. I do think the pivoting thing is an interesting point. And actually, as a counterpoint to something you said earlier, I forgot I wanted to jump on. I actually think shorts are a really effective way of doing a demo.
Me too. And I tried to pitch one to a builder the other day and they didn't want to go for it.
And I know when you do the videos, especially the ones I think of like the videos, the demos for Cosmodio,
right?
They always go in, get the video. I don't know how they're stealing our content.
I give it to them.
Okay. Well, in that case, but they take it and usually what they put together is the 30 seconds before you start laughing the hardest in the entire demo.
Right.
That's always going to be the best.
It's a good sign.
Form for a short. But I was also thinking about, I told you this before, earlier when RJ was still transmitting up to the station. I recently bought the Mono Neon Whammy.
Right.
I've never listened to Mono Neon. I've heard like a little bit of Mono Neon, but I don't really know Mono Neon. And I was thinking about this in terms of short form content. I bought the Whammy. I've never watched a demo of the Whammy by anybody, but I've heard a lot of Rage Against the Machine, and I've heard a lot of, Audio Slave and a lot of other artists that use the Whammy, and they never use it for more than 30 seconds. So effectively, I've listened to the Whammy, a bunch of demos of the Whammy in a musical context in like 30-second spurts.
Yeah.
And so I think there is an effectiveness to it, but it requires, like you said, that flexibility to work outside of like, okay,
30-second spurts is pretty impressive, Steve.
I don't have 15 minutes to figure this out and get to my point. I've got 30 seconds, to
sometimes when you hear something,
make something interesting,
you know that you want it right away.
Yeah, exactly.
What I've been trying to, I need to do the work of establishing short demos. I've been trying to pitch to brands like, hey, let's launch with vertical shorts, and then that'll wet the whistle and people will come to the long form when that's able to be published, sort of thing. Or even like as an option for brands that don't have a big budget, like let's just do a vertical short demo and I can charge a lower fee because it's technically less work.
Shorts on YouTube can now be like 2 minutes and 59 seconds long.
Yeah, 3 minutes
which is
plenty.
Long enough to make a full demo where you just are like, it'd basically be like the old Gas and Goes.
Yeah, exactly. I've already done this before.
No,
It just wasn't vertical format.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah, Steve. That was a long topic. Hopefully it was entertaining or interesting to some of you.
I don't even think it was entertaining or interesting to
And
me.
you know what the thing, when I was looking through all the channels that have been covering this, it's an easy topic to make an easy video to get some clicks. None of it looked like it really paid off that great for most of them. This one guy got 126,000, Bradley Hall, but I bet he gets those numbers all the time.
Bradley Hall's got a pretty big channel. In fact, actually Bradley Hall's the one. Two things. He actually pulled on 13 other like music space creators.
Oh, he was the guy?
He's the guy who did that. I think he actually has like 1 million.
Oh, we don't need to dive into his numbers.
But
we'll bring up the Social Blade later with Kid Detective.
But no, what I was saying is that's interesting is because I went to his channel and I saw that his most recent video that dropped 6 days ago had 118,000 views, and I'm like, well, is it really dying? Because you just got 118,000 views, but it's 6 days.
It's not 1 million.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's not It's not 1 million.
I haven't watched any of his videos. I don't actually know what the point is. He's making the 13 panel thing. I think is interesting because he's got like Trey on it. He's got Rumi. He's got the 10-second voice guy, Anthony. I forget his name. He's got a whole bunch. Sophie Burrell. He's got like a ton of people that are kind of in that LA scene. On the LA scene, and he's also and a lot of metal people. Andrew Baina's on that one as well. I might actually go and view it. Thanks to this topic, I might be a Bradley Hall fan now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say as my closing remarks, if you ever thought about starting a guitar channel on YouTube, don't let these people talk you out of it. Make it scare you into thinking it's dead, that it's dying. It's not true. You can do it. You just like all of us did. You just have to do the work. It takes real work. The luck aspect is gone. You can't be like the first guy on YouTube playing a double neck guitar or whatever and have your video blow up. There's no firsts anymore. Can you serve a purpose? Can you help people in any way? Do you have a service to provide to not only the viewer, but to brands that might want to sponsor you or hire you to complete that service? Like, those are questions you need to ask yourself, not whether or not an entire platform is dead, because it's not. Yeah. It's not. And it's kind of the only game in town as far as long form goes. So it's, in my opinion, it's super not dead. And you can actually make a living here. Like these people who say, oh, you have to have 1 million views on videos to be making any sort of living. I've built a career on videos that range in between 4,000 to 15,000 views. That's not insane. It's totally achievable. You just have to be willing to do the work.
I would say to even say that shorter. If you're thinking about making a YouTube channel, don't worry about any of this. Just ask yourself 2 questions. Do I want to make a YouTube channel, and do I care if I never get anything back from it?
Yeah, do it for fun.
And if the answer to both of those is yes, then do it.
Yeah.
Because if you ever get anything back from it, then you've already surpassed your baseline. That's a win.
Anyone who's ever trying to control you with fear, cut them out of your life, and that includes YouTubers. And don't be afraid to start something. Don't be afraid to try something. Do it. Gosh, I'm just so sick of these sorts of things that come up. Like, oh, YouTube's dead. Oh, metal's dead. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Guitar music is dead. Then bury it. Start a business burying things. I don't care. Like, if it's dead, then why are you complaining on the thing about it? If it's dead, you'd be complaining somewhere else.
As long as Rick Beato's making videos in YouTube,
then there's
music.
Hope.
YouTube's not dead. This ad
number 6 on YouTube.
We gotta move on.
Yeah, we were talking about it way too long, and it was probably super boring.
We talked about it for about 33 minutes.
God.
This episode.
And we swore so much this episode. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, young children that listen to this.
It was only you swearing at Kid Detective.
You're super cool. Children that listen to this, you're super duper cool, but you shouldn't be listening to adults who say cuss words. You're too young for this.
This ad was sent by Michael Lovett.
Believe it.
Pretty darn rare Musitronics MKS 470 6-keyboard combo organ missing
Great.
one.
I want to talk about this for 40 minutes. Not YouTube
one
dying.
Music desk. Turns on each manual. Has varying degrees of operation, but all voices are present. Will need heavy cleaning, contact cleaning, pots cleaned, and servicing to switches for teacher module and handheld remote mic to operate. This is $750 for
It's
6
only $750?
What does it mean? It's missing one music. Oh, it's missing one music stand, I think is what it means. One of them doesn't have the music stand.
$750?
Yeah, you can get 6 keyboards. That's only $150 per keyboard.
Dude, this isn't.
No, I did that wrong.
When you buy this,
5?
if this was local, I might be tempted to buy this. I'd have to pitch it to my wife.
Where would you put this? There's no room on the station.
This is not a $750 keyboard, Steve. This is one piece of sheet glass away from being a $750 coffee table, the raddest coffee table you've ever seen in your entire life.
This isn't a coffee table. You need a U-Haul to bring this home.
A dinner table.
Dinner table, I agree with.
A meeting room table. Hey, reverb.com. Do you have a meeting room table? Do you like a conference room? Do you have a conference room? Do you have a table in it? Does it look like this? No, it doesn't, does it? It probably looks boring. Throw it out.
It's probably made out of wood.
Reverb.com, people. Go get this. This should be the centerpiece in your glass bubble conference room that I imagine that you have in your giant headquarters that you probably don't actually have. But like, cool conference room, people. This is an amazing table.
What if we went to NAMM next year and in the Reverb has a booth set up again and their main like meet and greet space is this
would
with
be
a plexiglass
an
top.
amazing display for a NAMM booth. Like, you wire these up, you're going to have to hack circuits, but you wire these up to run through a bunch of pedal boards or whatever, synth modules, who cares? You're going to figure something out with it, and you've got all your pedals to play with on the table part, and then people can sit there and play. Like, even if it's not functional, just like I would walk across NAMM just to touch this thing. This is incredible. And I know what its function is. It's for educators. It's for a teacher that wants to sit there and teach 5 students at the same time. That's what it's for.
That's cool.
It's cool. It's also hugely and wildly impractical considering you could just buy 6 keyboards these days. Like this comes from an era when an electric organ was still pretty big.
Right.
So might as well slam them all together for an educator, you know. But it looks amazing. It's futuristic in a retro sort of like 1970s Andromeda strain sort of way. Like it's totally attractive and beautiful. You could turn it into an amazing conference table or dinner table or coffee table, depending on how big your couch is, I guess.
This was posted in Carolina Guitar and Gear Trader, but it's located in Richmond, Virginia. I don't know how that's not against the rules, but okay.
I don't know. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, it's great.
It's
$750.
Yeah. If I had the space and this was local, I'd be getting this just to be, like I said, a dining room table or something like that. My wife plays piano, and every once in a while we look for like maybe some kind of newer key solution, or she also used to play like vibraphone in high school. She's a mallets person, so every once in a while I look at local, see if there's any vibraphones for sale locally, and they're all more expensive than $750. Dude, $750. If this was just one vintage organ, I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, but
it's 6.
They definitely won't ship. So if I wanted this, I'm gonna have to drive to Richmond, Virginia,
exactly,
then rent a truck. Which
would be a really fun adventure, but you'd really, really have to want it.
Look, I don't care how big our Patreon gets. I am not going to get this. But if you want to help support other aspects of the making of the show, you can over at patreon.com/60cyclehumcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the making of the show. Like this person has. It's Gun Pay Ya Boy. Is that like gonna pay your boy, like gotta pay, like, or is that like
a firearm will pay your boy?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. That a reference to something? I don't know, but I like the name Gun Pay Your Boy.
Cool name, Gun.
And that's it. That's all we got this week. But thank you, and thank you everyone who supports the show. You're gonna get your name on the scroll at the end of the episode. Ryan, what's new? Let's do mail next week.
Okay, what's new?
Do we want to talk about these chairs?
We're sitting on shitty chairs. Sorry I'm swearing so much this episode. We already did like an Instagram video about it. Look at these awful chairs. I got them off of Amazon, and they hurt our bottoms. Steve complains about them, and he only sits on them 1 hour a week.
But well, you know why I probably complain about, like, my complaint's different than yours. Maybe.
You don't like the back support.
I forget the back support's even there. I tend to lean forward, but the back support's not great.
Who knows? By the time we publish this, our problem might have already been solved by a generous chair contributor or donor off of Instagram.
Here's what I'm going to say. Your complaints probably are along the same, along the same lines. But I measured this earlier. That circle part, the throne part of this chair, it's about 15 inches wide.
You want a wider throne.
You know what's not less than 15 inches wide? My ass.
Right.
And no, dipshits. If I lost,
now he's swearing.
If I lost 150 pounds, my ass would still be more than 15 inches wide.
Steve's got Steve's got a wide caboose.
I got birthing hips.
Yeah, I got a little butt, but that's even worse because it's like the entire weight of my body is focused on. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's a
on
good
a small little piece of my body.
So
so we just if we haven't found a company that wants to send us chairs, do you guys have any good ideas for long term comfortable guitar stools? We kind of need them to have wheels a little bit, no armrest, obviously, but then something comfy for our butts and supportive for our backs.
I'm really thinking is there some kind of armless gaming chair that could work?
You know what I've looked at? I've looked at beautician chairs.
Oh, interesting.
People who sit and, they do nails all day long. Yeah. They got some comfy looking chairs and they look like they might be guitar acceptable. So that might be a way that we look at, getting better chairs. We've been doing this over a decade and we've sat on shitty chairs the entire time.
The chairs before these ones were even worse.
They were super bad.
Ryan, this last ad.
Yeah.
Was sent by, is that it for what's new? I want to say one more thing for what's new.
Say one more thing.
I
got a real angry energy this episode.
Yeah, I know. Last weekend, well, not last weekend, 2 weekends ago now, 3 weekends by the time this episode drops, I went to the LA Synth and Pedal Expo with RJ.
How'd that go?
It was super fun, and it was really cool actually to go. And I talked to him beforehand. I was like, hey, do you want to make any content? Because we can get the DJ ice from Ryan and whatever. He's like, no, dude, let's just go and hang out and play. And so we went and got to hang out with Jamie from Super Cool and his wife for a bit.
They're a great hang.
And I got a tip from one of our listeners / viewers from on Instagram saying, hey, if you go there, ask the Keeley guys about their B stock. They're selling B stock pedals. So I went there and I said, hey, I got a tip on Instagram that you guys are selling B stock. And I was thinking it's going to be maybe 30% off, 40% off.
You're about to blow up their scene with this, Steve.
All I'm going to say is if you go to one of these shows,
ask about the B stock.
You should ask about the B stock. I'm not going to say how big of a discount it was.
Don't give numbers.
But it was way big. It was really cool.
It was pretty impressive. And this one, I wasn't even there and I heard about it.
When I went 2 years ago, it was in a different space. It was really cramped, and I was kind of I don't know if I love this. But when I went back this year, it was a lot more spread out, a lot more room to move around, and I think also going with RJ, so I wasn't solo flying into the heart of Los Angeles by myself. Mm-hmm. I had a really good time. It's like mini NAMM.
Sure,
it's a lot of fun. So if there's a pedal show coming to you, whether it's a Delicious Audio pedal show or some other pedal show in your town, and you got some time to kill on a weekend, go check it out. You might have some fun. You might get to play some pedals that you want. There was a guy there. I think I forget what the name of his brand is, which is terrible. But he has his pedals built in India. And they're really cool looking, really unique designs. And it's a brand I never would have found had I not gone to the show. So super cool.
I wanted to go, but man, I was just buried in I needed that day to heal my body.
No, dude, I get it, man.
Yeah,
I get it.
It looked
I probably would have bailed if RJ didn't want to go. I don't think I wanted to drive by myself.
I want to go to some of these smaller events though. I don't want NAMM to be my only gear event throughout the year.
So I don't know if this would kill the vibe. But Jamie suggested an idea, but it would have to go to the dude that runs these things. Especially for LA, they could totally do like a YouTuber table, and the guy who runs the thing could reach out and be like, hey, would you just come and hang out at this table for like 3 hours and then you can do whatever you want, kind of thing. I don't know if there's value in that, but like, I thought like it's something maybe worth exploring.
I don't think we need a table, but I've thought that it would be good just to be a presence there and go see and be seen sort of thing, you know, and get to shake hands and kiss babies.
Yeah. Oh, I ran into another dude.
Like we're running for
another dude named Brian who,
great.
Yeah. Who knew the show, like, or knew the channel. Like I talked to him for a bit. He showed us, he's got like a replica Mystery Science Theater set. I don't remember what the story was.
Really?
Brian, leave the story in the comments if you see this. I don't remember what the story is, but he was telling RJ and I about it, and how like, and
must be nice.
He's like a set builder or something.
Huh.
I'm not sure. I don't remember what the story was.
Hit us up.
That's the end of my What's New.
All right.
This last ad was sent by Philip Carter.
Yep. From 40 Watt Podcast.
We good to do this part now?
Why? Why not?
I don't know.
Vintage. Do we, is there drama? Is there beef?
No, vintage Fender Bassman amplifier.
I was like, Steve is making it sound like, oh, I don't know if I want to do anything from Philip.
$3,200, a vintage classic Fender. No, I just didn't know if you wanted to add anything to What's New.
Oh, no, I'm
good.
good. I'm done.
Vintage classic Fender Bassman tube amp, all original. I'm pretty sure the doghouse has never been opened. Had a beautiful matched pair of 6L6s, but one is partially missing now. What? Okay. Untested, may need a new power cord, no low ball. I know what I got. Will not answer. Is it available? I haven't looked at the pictures, and I now know that this is probably
it's humorous, Steve. Yes.
Would consider trades for documented monkeys or Jimi Hendrix gear. Holy smokes.
Yeah. Mojo. That's what you're thinking, right?
Yeah. 1 million JWUs.
This is it. This is the Bassman everyone wants. Look at it. Look at the end of the power cable there. Or is that a speaker cable? Who knows?
I don't think Fazio could repair this. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I don't think Fazio Electric can repair this. I don't think Brad the Guitologist can repair this either.
We're calling you out, YouTube amp repair people. We don't think you can do it. Prove us wrong.
Yeah,
don't do it. It's not worth it.
I don't know where this is located. Somebody's rat infested.
Yeah, it's located 2 feet underneath a shed in the woods.
Yeah, they actually found this in the Blair Witch Project house.
Yeah, it was propped up in the corner.
This is actually the Blair Witch. It was actually
the Blair Witch.
It's actually the Bassman.
Yeah,
the Bassman Project.
The Bassman Project. Yes.
The guys weren't attacked. They just saw this amp and it killed them.
Yes, because it turned up most of the way. What's the deal with this metal grate, this metal mesh that's over the top of it? Do you find that in a basement, or is that someone just trying to keep the rats out?
Well, one, it's on the bottom,
right?
Actually,
sure.
Actually,
it's on the open side.
But that being said, or maybe that is the top. Is it? Oh, it is the top. You're right.
I demand an apology.
I apologize, Ryan.
I accept your apology.
But I don't know why that. I feel like somebody just put that on there, but maybe the old Bassman chassis have that.
So clearly this guy is just using his listing to be like, hey, look at this thing that I have. This is toast, right? This is over. It looks like it got yanked out of a swamp or something, like beyond water damage.
There's no close-ups, I don't think, anywhere.
I bet that the cabinet, the speaker cabinet that this was loaded in, I bet this wasn't removed from it. I bet it just disintegrated into wherever it was. So like this was left sitting on a pile of deteriorated Tolex and MDF or particle board or plywood, whatever the termites and the fungus and the rats couldn't chew, you know?
I think the only things on this entire thing that are salvageable are the knobs.
Yeah.
And maybe the jewel light cover. That's it. The rest of this is trash.
I mean, you can use the chassis again. You just have to.
Can you?
I think if you can get the rest of the parts off.
I think if you took every part of this And by the time you got the rust off the chassis, there wouldn't be enough structural integrity to reuse the chassis.
So here's the way that you attack this, assuming this guy will just give it away to you, because you shouldn't pay any money for this.
Okay, how do you attack this, Ryan?
So
With a flamethrower?
You fully take it apart, every bit that you can, whether you're snipping things or because you can't desolder through the rust, or because things are just connected, the screws are rusted tight, so you can't get them off anymore. So you pry them off, and then you test things one by one. Mm-hmm. Does this transformer work?
No.
If the transformer still functions at all,
it doesn't.
You're selling that for mojo points. So someone's like, oh yeah, I need a really, really vintage transformer. Well, this one technically works, and look at it. Just look at it. You know this thing's going to have mojo. Oh, this tube jack, what is it called? The
Ryan, there's a hole in this transformer.
In that one, it's just a flush wound, Steve.
Yeah.
It might still.
The output transformer has a hole in it, but the power transformer looks like it might be okay.
It's a tone hole, Steve. That's where the frequencies that you don't want leak out.
No. Once the magic smoke escapes, you're done.
I've heard that there's secret sauce in old transformers that are aged. These are all the way aged. You can't age them anymore. All you can do is preserve this perfectly aged transformer at this point. There has to be, I think the tubes are probably toast. All those caps and resistors and stuff, they're probably toast, right? But if there are any components, I'm talking about jacks, I'm talking about pots, I'm talking about wire. If there's anything that still passes signal, you can sell it as mojo. You can sell it on eBay. Here is this vintage thing. It still functions. Prove that it functions with photos of it passing a signal and how much signal you bust out your multimeter.
Prove that it functions by taking a picture of a knob.
But I bet you there's stuff in here that's I got those Seymour Duncan pickups for the V that are antiquities, and it comes with rusted screws. Just the screws, Steve. You know how many rusted screws are in here? You know how many rusted nuts and bolts and washers are in here? There's stuff in here that people who reconstruct things will want. I'm just saying it's not worthless. I don't think you can resurrect it as a whole, but I think there might be some validity to the parts. So what's your favorite ad from this one, Steve?
Hold on. It's going to bother me if I don't do this.
Yeah, I bet you can find Bassman from the same year for $800.
$750 plus shipping for a silver panel.
But it's not aged to perfection, Steve.
Yeah, it works.
You don't know that.
You can plug it in and it will make a sound.
An old tube amp? You don't know that at all. This might work better.
What's my favorite ad?
I'm going with the Organ Orgy.
Organ Orgy was going to be my favorite. But this vintage Bassman is so bad.
Well, Steve, you do the honors. Give it an old spin. That was a lazy spin.
Is it a lazy spin? It's spinning real good.
Yeah, because it's not hitting the thing very well.
That's not my fault.
If I adjust it, then everyone will think I'm cheating.
No!
Oh! Congratulations, Michael Lovett.
Michael, love it or leave it. All right.
This time we loved it.
Song was sent by Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
We're almost out of songs, by the way.
Yeah, I noticed that.
We've got, I think, a few left, but a lot of them are from y'all who send in 3 or 4 songs at a time, which we will play.
Yes.
But I'm just letting folks who haven't submitted know that, maybe if you wanted to submit something, now could be the time. Just send us an individual song file attached to an email.
There was some guy who was leaving us a string of nonsense comments on a video. And then it turned out he was just trying to promote his band.
Right.
Come listen to my band. If you think this trash is good, then come listen to my band. And I wanted to tell him, if he hadn't been so annoying, I would have told him, send us a song and we'll play it at the end of an episode. But because he was an asshole, I didn't.
Just send us one file. If you tell us, go check out our Bandcamp and pick a song that's...
Yeah. You might be an asshole and we don't know, And we'll still play your song because we don't know that you're an asshole. Just don't tell us that you're an asshole by being an asshole.
I don't think Josh is an asshole.
No, he couldn't be.
He does say, pretty new.
Oh, Josh? Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
60 Cycle Hum. Started listening last year and I've become a fan. I wanted to share my band's song, A Place to Grow, with you. The band is called Garden Horse, by the way. Hope it has enough drip. Name. The working title for this was Fettuccine Western. It's our attempt at a cowboy garage rock explosion. Thanks for putting out top tier.
Well, I wouldn't
content.
say that. Top tier.
The song's called A Place to Grow.
Excellent. I love it.
Yeah. I thought it's a lot of fun. We don't often really do much in the way of critique. But I do think for this song, I would have liked to have heard the vocals cleaner. And maybe a little more forward in the mix.
The whole thing had like a lo-fi pastiche.
I know.
So yeah, I get like the styling of it, but yeah, I don't want to hear it full like modern studio mix.
No.
But a little bit more clarity I could see benefiting it.
But that's it. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I think did that song drip, Ryan?
Oh, I wasn't listening for the drips, did it? I don't know.
There's certainly a lot of reverb on it.
Yeah, lots of reverb. It nailed the spaghetti western sound. So good job. Excellent job. All right, bye everybody.
Stay grounded.
Sorry this was long.